Barakti Hawa Barakatha, Yahusha, Barakti Hawa Barakatha, Yahusha, Ba Hashem, Rakakodash, the honors to the apostles, the elders, salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching and truth and sincerity. Lesson will be entitled The Door. Lord, will you are edified. Video was inspired from the YouTube platform Jason Whitlock. Video entitled, Did Beyonce Attempt to Groom NFL Running Back? And this running back is Larry Johnson, and he was a exceptional football player. Fair use.
After B was a very young woman. Now, I did a Rockaware photo shoot.
And just a backstory, as you can see, he was extremely cool with Jay-Z at one time.
In Colorado. And I think it was during the wintertime of 06 or 07. And Naomi Campbell was there, actress Jamie King was there, Jay was there, B was there. And he rented this house. And we were supposed to do this rap party for this photo shoot. We rented this house. And we were watching LeBron play. And after the game, it had to be like 10 or 11 o'clock. So we getting ready to party. Mind you, it's all adults. There was a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old teenage Latin girl that was there, and I think she had to leave because she had school and she had to do homework, but she brought her mother with her. So it was no funny business going on, which I can respect that. So when 11 o'clock hit, we turned on the music, we started drinking, and then out of nowhere came these young children. I don't know where they came from. For a rap party at 11 o'clock at night, drinking, loud music, and us dancing wild, like, I don't know where these kids came from. And then I happened to sit down because I was dancing with one of the assistants, and I sat next to this child, and the child sat next to Beyonce. So I hear B say something about, doesn't this look sexy, or isn't this sexy? And in my mind, and mind you, I'm not awakened as I'm awakened now. So in my mind, I'm like, what did she just say? And then I didn't pay no attention to it. And then, obviously the liquor took hold of me and I had to leave. So I said bye to everybody and left. But those kids remained. I don't know if those kids were from the photo shoot themselves, but the fact that these kids came around adults during drinking hours or partying hours was already alarming to me. So when I hear something like this happens, I can't really discount it and say, oh, he could never do this, because I'm hearing stories, I'm seeing it with my own eyes, and I've been in situations where something don't sound or look right, and it's usually involving children.
Larry, you've just blown my mind, and so I'm gonna have to ask you to. I just want to be clear on what I just heard. In 2006 or 7,
yeah,
you're in Colorado at a winter party with Jay-Z and the people with Rock Nation. And
it was the people who helped out with the photo shoot. It was a winter campaign that we shot. Mm-hmm.
And it's at some very nice mansion somewhere in Colorado.
Yeah, up in the mountains somewhere.
And Beyonce is sitting relatively close to you, and there's a child there. And,
yes.
And this is after 11 o'clock at night. And she says, doesn't this look sexy?
Mm-hmm.
Beyonce, the singer.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Yes. Yes.
And the reason why I believe you, I'm not gonna put a name to this. The reason why I believe you is like, they get you out there and they float little test bubbles out there to see if you bite. Mm-hmm. It's like going fishing. Did I get a nibble? Did the bobber go down? Because I've been in that situation. I'm not gonna name names, but it was a prominent sports media figure that I had a social gathering at my apartment in downtown LA, Apex building, probably 20 people inside my apartment. And someone tried to engage me in a conversation about, can't you understand why older men find 14 and 15-year-old women attractive? And I was like, no, I really can't. And then they followed back up, and I was like, and then I just walked away, and I made a mental note like, hey, this person is on some different shit, quite frankly. and I was like, and it shocked me because I wasn't expecting this from this person, and it's always stuck with me. And I would elaborate and give a few more details, but it would potentially give away the person if I gave any more details. But it was just like a test, and I can remember like, yeah, I just failed that test.
And these people are so powerful that Jason Whitlock is still scared or afraid to name drop because he knows that his platform will be terminated. And a lot of these cats are controlled opposition, meaning although they are participating in exposure or exposing the industry, they still do the bidding, okay, for the ones that control the industry, those so-called Jews or those Jewish people, okay?
And so whatever they got going on out here in LA, and they trying to figure out if they can get me in some kind of conversation about whether I was attracted to 14 and 15-year-old women, I just failed that test. So I don't think you're lying or exaggerating. I think that is real out there in Hollywood. It's part of the reason why I left Los Angeles. And Larry, to me, it's like you've watched the Godfather 2 movies, Mafia movies. And what the music industry in Hollywood is much like the mafia, like the Sopranos, in terms of you can't become a made man until you killed somebody in the mafia. You gotta make your...
Meaning you have to go through the door. For example, Yahweh Shai is the door to Yahweh. So we must go through him in order to get to Yahweh. And in the industry, you must go through a door to excel or further excel. And that could be sacrificing a close friend or a loved one, okay, participating in same flesh rituals or molestation. Regardless of what you got to do, you must go through a door. And that's on the right-hand side, which is the righteous side, and on the left-hand side. Remember, Proverbs 11:1, a false balance is abomination to Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight. So there is a door on the right-hand side, and there is a door on the left-hand side.
Your bones, you gotta, and it sounds to me in Hollywood and in the music industry, if you want to make it to the top, you must be involved in some sort of sexual deviancy before and they must know about it before they fully trust you.
And all this is sexual magic. And I want to say that comes from the teaching of Aleister Crowley. Mark 8:36. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world, such as Beyonce, Jay-Z, but lose your own spirit? Is anything worth more than your spirit? And in the case of former football player Larry Johnson, he displayed or exhibited what? Integrity. Okay? He maintained his morals, his principles, his values, or his constitution.
Do you agree with that?
I absolutely agree, because we all know how shameful it is to be messing around with a child, no matter what the age. And they know that the majority of the people in this country or in this world do not sit by and will not let anybody abuse children. So that's more of
And that's a lie. Okay, he's going off on that.
a shame thing they can control you with. Now, sacrificing somebody, that's personal. You know, not many
That's a door.
people can add those or connect those dots of who did what and who did this, but it happens. But when it comes to sexual deviancy, as you said,
And that is another door.
it's more of a, we don't want the whole world to know what you've really been up to, so you have to do what we say do. And I think that's how they move. And like you said, I think it's like putting a worm on a hook. They see who bite. They're not gonna come up to you and say, hey, you like 5-year-olds? They're not gonna do that, because you look at them weird, or you might just punch them in the mouth. But they'll put you in situations where if young children are around, they'll move you into it. It may not be a 5-year-old, but it'll start at a 19-year-old at a party.
Gradualism.
It'll go from a 15-year-old at a party. Then you show up at somebody's
Gradualism.
private home and residence, and it's like a 9-year-old, and then they keep going to see how far you can go. And I don't want to imagine it, but I know they're going as far as they can go until they get into animals. And I know when it comes to sexual deviancy and it
that's another door.
comes to lust, there is no backstop to that until you reach an animal. And that's where, if we talk about the days of Noah, that's exactly where sexual deviancy ends up. It ends up with animals.
Job 18:5. Yea, the light of the wicked, going into what? Their philosophy. Okay, so the light of the righteous is this truth, and the light of the wicked is Satanism, shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. All right, so eventually this thing will come to a head, and Yahushua is going to completely destroy the wicked, which are the Edomites. And you have 2/3 of our people that participate in the philosophies of the wicked to attain earthly gain. Job 38:15. And from the wicked their light is withholden, and the high arm shall be broken. And that's future tense. And via the Spirit, you have the prophets, also whistleblowers, informing the public, okay, how these cats really get down. This is how they excel. This is how they maintain their A-list celebrity status, okay, by doing abominable things.
The other element, and this is because I used to drink and I used to smoke a little weed, but at some point I came into an awareness like, oh man, if you go look at most of the mistakes I've made in my life, alcohol was involved, and it's like they get you, and this thing about LA, they get you at these parties, get some liquor in you, get some weed that may be laced with something, maybe they spike your drink, and then it's like when Beyonce says, doesn't that look sexy? Well, your inhibitions are down. Your self-control is down because they got the liquor, the drugs in you, and the next thing you know, you're doing things you wouldn't do sober.
And that's why it's extremely important to remain sober, right? First Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walk about, seeking whom he may devour. Now, 1 Peter 5:8. Let's focus on sober.
Strong's G 3525. NAFO.
According to outline of biblical usage, to be sober, to be calm and collected in the spirit. And when we are calm and collected in the spirit, okay, you can make better decisions. You're not rushed. Okay, you are on alert. Also, to abstain from wine. And what wine? From a spiritual sense. This Babylonian potion, this love potion, this Babylonian wine, okay, which is nothing but Satanism. So from the spirit, we have to be sober, to be calm, to be collected in the spirit, to be temperate, and to be circumspect, okay? But from a physical sense, like Jason Whitlock stated, when you drink the physical wine, okay, that substance will lower your vibration, and you are willing to do things that normally you wouldn't do because of a glass or glasses of wine. And not to mention, in the industry, they lace that shit. So you wake up the next morning and don't know what happened. But here you have a video of you doing all crazy shit. and you're willing to do any and everything to prevent that video going public, okay? Blackmail.
And they just happen to have a camera on it and pictures of it, and then they have you for the rest of your life.
Right.
And that's what I see. I mean, I just, not to go to, but it's just like, I look at the dude, Baby from Cash Money. I'm like, he's kissing all these dudes in the mouth, and he got this prison mentality. I'm just like, all these guys, they're not in control. They accept the money, and then they promote.
The last precept. And this is Psalms 57 and 6. They have prepared a net for my steps. My spirit is bowed down. They have digged a pit before me into the midst whereof they are falling themselves. So the same thing they're using, okay, it's going to be the same reason that the Most High is going to destroy them. Let's focus on a net. According to the Hebrew, Strong's H 7568, Rashath, going into of leaders leading people to sin. What people? The Israelites, modern day Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Leaders such as Baby from Cash Money, Jay-Z, Beyonce, LeBron James. Okay. Any Jake you see has a platform or has multiple movies like Denzel Washington, you have to get down. There are no exceptions. 50 Cent, although he seems like he's exposing people, okay, he's controlled opposition. Jaguar Wright is controlled opposition, and she is a practicing witch, and that's from her omission, okay. Cat Williams is controlled opposition, period. All of them have sold out. So, Lord will, this was an edifying lesson. Shalom.